Somewhere on a used lot near you, there's a 20-year-old pickup with a dented fender and a price under 10 grand that will still be running long after every shiny truck in that showroom is crushed into a cube. I know exactly how that sounds. I've spent 23 years turning wrenches, and I don't say it to be dramatic. Here's the problem with buying new. That $70,000, $800 a month truck is a tablet on wheels, a small, overstressed turbo engine buried under sensors and screens, all of it built down to a price instead of up to a standard. The trucks that genuinely go the distance weren't built that way. And here's the part that matters. They can't be anymore. The factories moved on, the rules changed, and nobody is ever going to build a truck like these three again. I'll take you through all three, and I'll tell you up front, number one could be ordered with a feature so far ahead of its time that it disappeared and has never returned on any truck since. There's a real catch to it that most people who go hunting for one learn the hard way, so make sure you're still here for that. Let's start at number three. Number three is the first generation Toyota Tundra with the 4.7-liter iForce V8, built 2000 to 2006. And yes, I can already hear the domestic crowd warming up. Give me 2 minutes, because what's bolted under this hood isn't what you think it is. A customer of mine, Vince, a retired electrician, grabbed one years back with 150,000 miles on it for about $9,000. His buddies ribbed him for buying a Japanese truck. He's sitting at $340,000 now, and the only money he's ever put into it is oil, tires, and brake pads. Now here's what almost nobody clocks. That 4.7 V8, the 2 UZ-FE, was never engineered as a budget truck motor. It's the same engine Toyota trusted in its Land Cruiser and its Lexus LX, a 6-figure luxury SUV. So, while everyone was writing the Tundra off, the people who owned one were quietly running the exact drivetrain Toyota saved for its most expensive machines. An overbuilt cast-iron V8 that treats 300,000 miles like a warm-up. There's one thing you must check, and it's tied to why these last. That V8 runs a timing belt, not a chain, due around every 90,000 miles. Reaching it means going deep into the front of the motor, so a decent shop refreshes the water pump and cooling system while they're already in there. Heat is what kills gas engines, and that service quietly resets the very thing that would kill this one. So before you buy, confirm that belt job is documented. Then get underneath and inspect the rear frame for rust, because in salt states, that's the real threat here, not the engine. A clean one under $12,000 will outlive most of the people watching this. But if you want real old-school American iron, number two is where we head next. Number two is the 9th generation Ford F-150, the one everybody calls the OBS, and specifically the one with the 4.9-liter Inline-Six. It's here for a single reason, and that reason is the engine. A guy named Earl rolled his into my bay a few weeks ago. A 95 he bought brand new, 410,000 miles showing, and that 6 has never once been cracked open in 30 years. Here's the thing about the Ford 300 Inline-Six. It was never really a truck-only engine. Ford dropped that same motor into generators, farm tractors, and wood chippers, anything that had to sit and grind away under load for hours without quitting. What you've got in this pickup is basically a piece of stationary industrial equipment that happens to come with a cab and a bed. And it's got a trick most engines don't: no timing belt and no timing chain. The camshaft is driven by a simple set of timing gears meshing straight together. Nothing to stretch, nothing to snap. Bolt that onto a cast iron block and 300,000 miles is barely broken in. Plenty have crossed 500,000. So what killed it? Not failure, emissions. Ford couldn't get the old Six clean enough for the new rules, so they retired it after 1996. That makes a 96 the one to hunt down. The layman check. Make sure it's the 6, not the V8. And test the dual-tank fuel switch on the dash, because that's a classic headache. A clunk over bumps is just a cheap suspension bushing, not the truck coming apart. Pick one up for around $6,000. And there's genuinely no reason it should ever leave you stranded. Number one, though, is a different animal. It's the one carrying the secret I promised you at the top. Number one is the 1999 to 2006 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, the GMT 800. And in my shop, it's the truck I trust more than anything else from its era. A contractor named Dwayne has had one since it was new. He's hauled block and mortar in it 5 days a week for 20 years, and it just rolled past 330,000 miles. In 2 decades, the only real repairs he's paid for are a fuel pump and a set of brake lines. That's the entire list. The reason is the 5.3 Vortec, an iron block member of GM's LS family, the same engine line that made the Corvette famous. In a truck, it's tuned for torque and built to be abused, and it's one of the most punishment-proof V8s GM has ever turned out. One important note, because it's what separates the good ones from the rest. The classic GMT 800 trucks through about 2006 mostly came without cylinder deactivation. GM rolled that fuel-saving system, active fuel management, out across the lineup by 2007. And that's the version with the lifter failures that can wipe out a camshaft. So the simpler early truck is the one you want. Just confirm before you buy that you've got the version without it. The buy check here is refreshingly short. The one real weak spot is the brake lines. They rot from the inside and eventually let go. A shop can run stainless replacements for a few $100s. And once that's done, there's almost nothing left to fail. Clean ones still surface around $8,000 to $10,000. Now, the secret I promised. Back in the early 2000s, you could order one of these trucks with something that sounds invented today: 4-wheel steering. GM called it quadra-steer. The rear wheels turned too, opposite the fronts at low speed. So a full-size truck could tuck into a parking spot or back a trailer tighter than a family sedan. It was genuinely years ahead of anything else. It cost a small fortune new, and it sold so poorly that GM cut the price from around $7,000 to as little as $1,000 before pulling it entirely in 2005. 4-wheel steering has never returned on a GM truck since. But here's the catch, and you need this before you go chasing one. That rear steering setup is quadra-steer's Achilles heel. The rear sensor tends to let water in and corrode, and once the system throws a fault, you're in real trouble because GM discontinued the parts. There are no new replacements. You're left hunting for used or rebuilt components, and owners have burned months and thousands of dollars just getting one working again. That is exactly why an honest seller will sometimes steer you away from a quadra-steer truck. So if you still want one, go in clear-eyed. Find an example where the system actually works and has been cared for. Check the rear steering boots for cracks before anything else, and accept that you're buying a rare piece of engineering that carries a rare risk. Land a good one, and you're driving something almost no one else on the road has. And now you know exactly what you're looking at and what to avoid.